That's why I was on the edge. Again, it was the stuff I have to pay regardless of what's going on in my life. Sometimes you've gotta live a little, right? I was hoping I'm not gonna get a negative number. Welcome to the episode How to Budget for Beginners. Today we'll talk about the things you need to do as a beginner to be able to look at your account and know exactly where you stand. The first thing I did is figure out how much money I had. And no, a vague idea isn't good enough here. You need to know the exact numbers. I started by listing all my income sources. This includes everything you make from your regular job to your side hustles. Maybe you have rental income or some cash you get from selling your old stuff on eBay like me. It all counts. Now, if your income isn't exactly steady, like if you're a freelancer or you work different hours per week, don't worry. Instead of pretending that your paycheck is a magic number that stays the same every month, take the average of the last 3 months to get a realistic view of how much you actually make. I knew that getting a clearer picture of my income is step one in mastering my budget. Once you know exactly how much you're working with, you can start budgeting without the panic, because knowing is half a battle. Another half is just resisting late-night McDonald's delivery. Now that I know how much money was coming in, it was time to figure out how much was going out. I focused on the essentials first, my fixed expenses. These are monthly payments you can skip, put off, or ignore if you want to keep the budget under control. You start with the basics, things like rent or mortgage, car payments, student loans, utilities, insurance, and groceries. These are the must-haves of your budget, the bills that come knocking every month, whether you're ready or not. Some of my expenses vary, like my electricity or grocery bill, so I decided to take the average over the last few months and use it as a monthly estimate. For example, if your gas bill tends to fluctuate, go through your last few bills, calculate the average, and use that as the standard figure for budgeting. Once I've listed everything, I add it all up. The result was my total monthly financial obligations. Again, it was the stuff I have to pay regardless of what's going on in my life. Knowing this number is crucial because it gives you a clear view of how much you need to earn to just stay afloat. The easiest way to track your expenses is to use a method that feels natural to you. If you're a fan of pen and paper, grab that notebook and jot down your expenses as they come. This makes it personal and can give you a clear visual record. If you are more tech-savvy, a spreadsheet like Google Sheets or Excel can be your best friend. You can create categories, set formulas to calculate total, and keep it updated on your phone. Now that I've got a handle on my income and expenses, it was time to dream big. Like, what are my financial goals? Setting clear, actionable goals helps you prioritize and get on your roadmap to your budget. Whether it's a short-term goal like saving for a vacation or a long-term goal like building an emergency fund, your goals will shape how you manage your money. I had a financial vision, and it was time to break it down into measurable goals. I organized them by timeline, short-term, mid-term, and long-term. It helped me focus and avoid feeling overwhelmed. I wrote down my goals and ranked them in order of importance. Once you crush a goal, it's time to level up and set your sight on the next one. Celebrate your win, but don't let the momentum fade. Your next goal is already waiting, and the sooner you tackle it, the closer you get to building the financial future you've been dreaming of. It's like a game. Every time you unlock a new achievement, the next challenge gets you even closer to winning the whole thing. How you can even win the whole thing? Does Elon Musk ever stop? I was thinking of it as more than a to-do list. When you know where you're headed, it's easier to stay on track. Alright, life isn't all bills and savings. Sometimes you've gotta live a little, right? That's where discretionary expenses come in. These are non-essentials that bring joy but aren't exactly must-haves. We are talking about dining out, vacations, new clothes, movies, or that latest streaming service you definitely don't need but cannot live without. So what was left after I've covered my essentials and long-term goals? That's money for fun and flexibility, my discretionary spending. But here is the important part. You've got to be real about how much you can actually afford. To me, that included tracking everything from $5 latte to my $11 avocado toast. You know what? The math doesn't lie. The average American spends $208 a month on restaurant meals. Less than me. For a short period of time, cutting back was feeling like a sacrifice, but trust me, it's nearly as painful as dealing with debt. A little self-discipline and quick audit of my spending revealed plenty places to save. And hey, when you save more, you'll have more to put towards your goals and future fun. Now that I've broken down my budget into neat sections, monthly obligations, financial goals, and discretionary spending, It was time for grand finale. I add up all my expenses from these categories and subtract that from my total monthly income. I was hoping I'm not gonna get a negative number. For example, let's say your monthly income is 4,200. Here is how you could allocate that money across various categories. If the result is positive, congrats. You're in the green, meaning you're spending less than you earn. This is your financial win. Use the surplus to boost your savings or put it towards something fun like a vacation fund. But if the result is negative, that's a financial red flag. You're spending more than you make. Focus on your needs first and cut anything that doesn't contribute to your well-being or goals. Your budget should prioritize the essentials. If you are in the red, it's time to make some hard decisions and adjust your spending. If your budget is coming in close to zero, you're right on the edge. That's why I was on the edge. Well, it's not the worst thing. It didn't leave me much room for surprises like phone breaking or that emergency pizza night. I considered adjusting my budget and cutting back on some non-essentials to give myself a financial buffer. Creating a budget is a personal thing. What works for someone else might not work for you. I don't worry, there are plenty of budgeting methods out there to try, so everyone can find the one that fits their financial style. Let's break down a few of the most popular options that I will review so you can pick the best approach for you. Zero-based budgeting. Think of it as a financial puzzle where every dollar has a purpose. In a zero-based budget, your goal is for your income minus your expenses to equal zero. That doesn't mean you have to spend every penny. It just means that every dollar needs to be accounted for, whether it's for savings, bills, or fun. If you like simplicity, the 50-30-20 rule is a popular choice. You allocate 50% of your income to needs, 30% to wants, and 20% to savings and debt repayment. It's a straightforward formula that keeps you on track and without much stress. If you are more hands-on and love the idea of keeping your finances tangible, the cash envelope system might be right for you. The basic idea is simple. You create physical or digital envelopes for each spending category: groceries, fun, etc. And when the cash in the envelope is gone, you stop spending in that category. The best approach, the one that keeps you engaged and on track. Whether you are zero-based, following 50-30-20 rule, or using cash envelope system, what matters most is finding what method works really best for your lifestyle. I took my time, tried different strategies, and found what really helps me control my finances without feeling stressed. By the way, I will leave the link in the description to the video where we talk more fully about those budgeting methods. Watch that next. It's essential to consistently monitor your budget and make adjustments as needed. Unexpected expenses pop up, your income may change, and your financial goals will shift, so your budget should reflect those changes. For example, if your rent increases, you may need to shift the funds from your wants category to cover the high expense. Or if you pay off a debt like a car loan, you can reallocate those funds to pay other debts or boost your savings. I started by reviewing my budget regularly. Ideally, it is once a month, but I did even weekly as a beginner because I was just getting a hang of things. If you are new to the budgeting too, don't be discouraged if it feels overwhelming at first. The initial months may be a challenge, but the effort you put in will lead to more control and more peace of mind with your finances. Over time, you can scale back to quarterly check-ins. The key is to keep your budget flexible and make adjustments when needed to stay aligned with your income and goals. To put it simply, budgeting is an ongoing process, not a one-time fix. Your financial situation will shift over time and your budget should reflect it. Here is a bonus, some helpful tips for beginners that I discovered through my journey of budgeting. They will help you set you on the right path. Think of it this way: what you don't save, you can spend. When outlining your budget, always focus on how much you want to save first, then allocate what's left for spending. Savings should come before any purchases, ensuring you're building a secure financial future before splurging on non-essentials. It's not about drastically changing your lifestyle, but rather making small strategic cuts. Even cutting back a little on daily expenses like skipping a coffee or dining out less can result in meaningful savings. Over time, these little adjustments can add up to big financial gains. To get a clearer picture of where your money goes, consider using just one credit or debit card for all of your expenses. By sticking to one card for a few months, you can download an itemized report that will help you track and categorize your spending, making it easier to spot areas for improvement. Plus, look for cards that offer rewards like cashback or points to maximize your benefits. Start by budgeting for just one pay period. This approach makes it easier to stay focused and not get overwhelmed by a long-term budget. Once you stick for budget for that period, celebrate the win. Treat yourself with something small like a fun activity or a favorite meal. Rewards keep the momentum going. Life is unpredictable and your budget should reflect that. While it is important to stick to your plan, it is equally crucial to allow some breathing room for unexpected expense. By leaving a small buffer or emergency fund within your budget, you'll have the peace of mind knowing that you are prepared for the unplanned, like a sudden medical bill or a car repair. By following these tips, you can build a strong foundation for managing your money and achieve your financial goals one step at a time. Start simple, make adjustments along the way, and celebrate your progress, because every step you take towards mastering your budget is a win. Whether it's saving for a vacation, paying off debt, or building an emergency fund, the sooner you start seeing results. Now, thanks all of you guys for listening to these tips. I hope they will be helpful and you will also gain control over your financial situation. Well, I'll see you in the next video. Stay on track and don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk more budgeting next week.